So a quick run through here of the little research methods check-in you did. So the first question here, psychologists designed a study to test the effects of cell phone use on driving safety. And then the question is, in the study, cell phone use can be described as, the correct answer there is independent variable, because remember, independent variable is what the researcher is going to manipulate or change, right? So independent, I, as a researcher, am going to change that. So in this study here, she's going to either give them a cell phone or they're not going to be talking on the cell phone. All right, so the cell phone would be the independent variable. The dependent variable would then be driving safety, all right, because the idea here is the use or non use of a cell phone should impact driving safety. Dependent variable is what we are measuring because we believe the independent variable will change it. Next one, a research group involved with advertising is conducting a study to investigate whether shoppers are more likely to engage in impulse buying at the checkout rather than any other place in the store. For the results of the study to be generalizable, so generalizable means you can generalize it to the whole population, right? So remember, you start like with your population, the group of people you want your study to apply to, and then you take a small sample of those individuals. And to be generalizable, or for your results to apply to the whole population or generalize, you need to use a representative sample. And the easiest way to do that is through random selection or random sampling. So, like for example, a representative sample of Oconomowoc High School would mean you get an equal number of kids in different grades. You get or not equal, but it represents the school population as a total. So if we have, say, 55% of our student population is females, then a representative sample should have pretty close to 55% of the participants being females, right? So that's the idea of a representative sample. If you remember your Unit 7 FRQ, the study there, it was not a representative sample because she used people just from her neighborhood, right? So that's what we call sampling bias. Next one, a survey shows that children who have encyclopedias in their homes earn better grades in school than children whose homes lack encyclopedias. The researcher concludes that having encyclopedias at home improves grade. So the researcher here is using a survey to believe that one thing causes something else to happen. So this conclusion is erroneous, which means incorrect, primarily because the researcher has incorrectly, the correct answer there is inferred causation from correlation. Survey is a type of descriptive study which can show us relationships, but it cannot show us causation. So the survey shows us a correlation. The researcher inferred causation, but you can only see cause and effect using an experiment. The next one here, instructor conducted an experiment that was one we just, to study students learned in introductory physics. The results show that the average amount learned by the group using one method was greater than the average learned by the other group. However, the difference was not statistically significant. If it's not statistically significant, that means there's a chance it just occurred randomly. All right, so to be statistically significant, you have to have a big enough difference where the different method had to have had an impact on that. And then the next one here, Professor Ahad has 43 students in section 1 of the psychology classes she teaches and 52 students in section 2. Section 1 meets at 8 a.m. and section 2 meets at 1 p.m. Gives all the students the same final exam, and those two score significantly different. Professor Ahad concludes that her section 1 students are academically inferior to students in section 2. The issue here is, right, a confounding variable is a third variable that could impact the dependent variable. So here she's inferring that the independent variable is going to be just the classes or the intelligence of them, and that's impacting the score. However, the third confounding variable could be the time of day. And then dependent variable there would be the grade on the exam, because that's what we're using to measure. So hopefully that helps you understand a little better. Email me if you got any questions.